And we are supposed to be the non-prophets. I could be Denis Loubet, along with what appears to be Kevin Stein and Jamie Boone, coming to you live from what many believe is the Free Thought Library in Austin, Texas, on what is probably the 5th of June, 2019. Additionally, you might think that this show is sponsored by the Atheist Community of Austin, a nonprofit educational organization for the promotion of positive atheism and the separation of church and state, and that would certainly constitute an opinion. And you can likewise assume that you could learn more about the ACA by calling their voicemail at 512-220-6561 or visiting their website at www.atheist-community.org if that was what you thought was true. You're also welcome to interpret things such that the Non-Prophets broadcasts live every first and third Wednesday of each month from 7:30 to 9 Central Time, and furthermore, entertain the idea that there's a chat room you can join by following the directions at www.nonprofitsradio.com. So, if one were to suggest that all of this was factual, and that's only a hypothesis, one could swiftly come to the conclusion, if one were inclined, that all that remained for one to do now was sit back and enjoy the show.
One could do that, yeah.
But could one?
I don't know. I think I left myself an out on just about everything I said.
I suppose you did, yeah.
Are you sure?
I'm trying to cover my ass here. Come on.
Say,
Okay.
insert.
Well, welcome. It's been a while.
Yeah, I missed the last episode, and then it's been
3
a few
week
since
things are always stressful.
Maybe we'll have to do something about that.
Yeah, I feel like I don't remember how to do the show. And,
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
out of my
is
element, I think.
Is it?
Yeah.
Do I do this?
I mean,
Is this?
What?
I don't know what to do with my hands. It's the.
That's exactly what I was going to say. So, yeah.
Okay.
we
Beat you to
are-
the joke.
Yeah.
Dennis just thinks he's next to weirdos.
Yeah.
And is he right? Who knows?
Yeah, he is.
Definitely. It could be correct. Or is it?
So, Dennis, how have you been for the last 3 weeks?
I've been okay. I've been exploring the wonders of e-commerce
Yeah?
with no success whatsoever. Yay!
Wait, are you? What do you mean? You're trying to sell stuff and you can't? Are you
Yes,
trying to buy
I've got a
stuff?
store. I'm trying to sell stuff, and apparently I'm trying to sell things that no one wants. So
Oh, where is your
that's a
store?
problem.
Yeah.
It's www.mainqueststudios, all one word, .com.
Okay.
Okay. Do you need the www? Or can
Probably
you just
not.
need...
Mainqueststudios.com.
But if you don't say www, how will they know that it's www?
That it's on
That's
the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That it's on the World Wide Web.
People
True.
keep trying
Yeah.
to look for www Street, and it's just not out there.
Street? Wait.
So that's mainquest.com?
Mainqueststudios.com.
Studios.com. Okay. All right. Good to know.
I mean,
It's
is
mostly
it? Wait.
it's all gaming stuff and
Yeah.
Is it
fantasy and stuff.
www Main Quest Studios or is it just Main Quest Studios?
Okay.
There's
All right, it's-
there's
keep
a
talking
dot
about
at
your-
either end of that, which accommodates some sort of interweb.
So
thing
people should
that-
check you out if they are so inclined.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
sure.
Actually, what is the name of the website? Is it?
I wanted it to be
Main
Side Quest
Quest?
Studios, but it's Main Quest Studios.
Well, that's because you're the main event.
I try.
I prefer usually the main quest anyways.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah. Although I'm a completist, so you got to go back and get the.
So how was your 3 weeks?
Yeah, it's been an interesting couple of weeks. Kind of eventful around here.
I hear.
We're renovating the property.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just got a new shed. We're painting the building, and we've got a new fence coming in the next couple of days. That's going to be
Yeah.
Cool.
The new shed is glorious. Shed is I think a derogatory term for the glorious quasi barn that we have. Mm-hmm. It feels
is,
larger
yeah.
than the other one. It's fine.
It's very barn-like.
I have to make a Monty Python reference. And 2 sheds. You need 2 sheds. That's what.
For what?
You never heard the 2 sheds Jackson skit.
This has never happened before today, and now twice I have seen a conversation-ending stare from Dennis. Is this a new thing, or have I always just stayed, towed the line before?
That's more of a deer in the headlights. You may think of it as a...
Felt like I was the deer in the headlights, hit by something. Yeah.
I just assume everybody I interact with is as deeply into Monty Python as I am, so...
Well, I mean, that's how you tell whether or not you want to interact with them.
It's part of the criteria.
Yeah, my 3 weeks ended just now with me realizing that I get excited about good sheds, apparently. So,
Yeah.
People told me to go outside and look at it. I went, cool, it's a shed.
Some people are more excited about it than you, but I think we should probably move on for those.
Yes,
of you.
I was
think
about to
so.
say, that
Don't
wasn't
care.
me, and then I realized, it must have been
For the
someone
viewers and listeners who don't give a shit.
don't
Let's
give a
go
shit.
ahead and jump into
Launch into
our
something.
tough
Yeah.
shed for them.
Something
first
interesting.
story.
Tough
Do-
shed.
First
do we-
story.
You know what? I'm actually going to start it out with a little bit of good news.
Good news. That's so foreign these days.
I know. So, this is from Religious News Services, or Service, actually. Southern Baptists see the 12th year of declining membership in a row. And this was May 24th out of Nashville, Tennessee. The nation's largest Protestant denomination recorded its 12th year of declining membership at an annual report released Thursday, a couple of days ago. The Southern Baptist Convention said that it had 14.8 million members in 2018, and that it is now down about 192,000 from the previous year. That's, in 1 year, almost 200,000
Wow.
people.
Yeah.
That's not nothing.
Yeah, you
That's
could call
certainly
that
not nothing.
hemorrhaging.
Yeah, it was all,
good.
bye. And then I went, millions.
Well, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So
still way too
this
many.
is a
but-
bandwagon we want everyone to jump on.
Or off of.
Yeah.
Wait.
Well,
Yes.
let's keep going. So,
Yeah.
anyways, baptisms also declined about 7,600, down to 246,442. That's an important measure for a denomination with a strong commitment to evangelism.
Hey, I've got a question. Do baptisms cost anything?
That's a good
Because
question.
that would be a drain on the, they're not getting that money. I don't know if it costs them.
Jamie?
To be baptized? No.
Yeah.
No.
It doesn't
I thought you were
cost
saying, what would the cost of the church be?
Yeah.
And then I was trying to remember, because they don't usually change the holy water at the front pretty much ever.
And they
So
don't charge anyone to be baptized.
Well, are
No.
you thinking of Catholic baptisms? Because this is Southern Baptists.
Yeah, I was going to say, do they change the water in the tub?
I have no idea. I really don't know.
Ew.
I hope so.
That's really gross.
Yeah.
But yeah, baptisms,
Yeah.
that I feel like if you're not serious enough about your faith to go ahead and have your kid or, whatever baptized, you're probably not too serious about your faith,
Yeah.
just in general.
What kind of Christian are you?
An untrue Christian, I guess.
A non-baptismal.
Yeah.
Christian faith,
An
so
untrue Southern Baptist.
Yeah, that's a Northern Baptist.
Yeah.
Oof, Yankees.
Those damn Southern Baptists.
So the Southern Baptist Convention's membership actually peaked at 16.3 million back in 2006.
2006.
Yeah, it's
And been declining ever since.
its giving has continued to grow. However,
It's what? Oh,
Money.
the money
yeah,
keeps,
however,
keeps
its
increasing.
churches have collected $11.8 billion last year.
Are there fewer churches at least?
Actually, at the very end here, it did say,
Spoiler alert.
yeah, the
one thing we can-
denomination.
The one thing we can hope they're doing with the money is buying yachts and jets.
Oh yeah,
I hope that's what they're doing.
then it'll,
because
then
of
it'll
the-
trickle down.
Because
Yeah.
they could be doing stuff like,
Buying senators.
buying senators
Well, they
and
might do that as well. I
Yeah,
thought you were
pretty
saying
propaganda and stuff like that. I hope they're blowing it on
yeah, and diamonds as well.
blow. That would be great.
That would be nice. Yeah.
I thought you were saying that because it's a bad investment, an unnecessary luxury item, and that it depreciates at a remarkable rate.
Yeah. No.
Don't
that's
take
just-
financial advice from a podcast, but also don't invest in a yacht.
Yes, I just hope they're not using it to swell their numbers.
Unless it's the Phil Ferguson show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's a good
to
show.
answer your question, at the very end here, it says the denomination also saw the number of affiliated churches drop slightly for the first time since 1998.
Wow.
So that's nice.
Yes.
But yeah.
Let's hope this trend continues.
Yeah, unfortunately, it also states here that there are more evangelicals today than there were 10 years ago. And yet there are less Southern Baptists. Apparently, a big part of the problem for Southern Baptists is they've got a really bad PR problem because they get involved in politics and they're more open about it. Like the evangelicals have been proud Trump supporters, but the Southern Baptist Convention is more, public about the way that because they put out
they had
proclamation every year or something.
Well, they had Mike Pence speak at their thing, didn't they? The
Yeah,
Southern
they
Baptists,
did.
Or is that the?
Yeah, they had Mike Pence speak. Southern Baptist Convention regularly makes headlines over controversial partisan issues. At their annual meeting last year, Vice President Mike Pence delivered a campaign-style speech that left some members calling for an end to the practice of inviting politicians to speak. And I think that's a good idea. I don't think that politicians should be speaking at religious conferences.
Oh, hell no.
Oh, but you're one of those.
It's conventions, right?
Yeah, you're one of them devil-worshipping Satan lovers that doesn't think that thinks that we should have separation of government and religion.
Yeah, it just,
Punk.
I know, it kind of rubs me the wrong way to see
Yeah.
big-time politicians or even small-time politicians being just so ridiculously open about how partisan they are.
Yep.
Yeah.
But also, there is another thing. The previous year's meeting, denomination officials caused a brief uproar when they refused to introduce a resolution denouncing the, quote, alt-right white nationalist movement. A similar resolution was adopted the following day, and the resolution's committee chair apologized, saying members had been concerned about potentially giving the appearance of hating their enemies. Yeah, that's
right.
that's fucking weak. Really, you refuse to denounce neo-Nazis because it would look like you hated your enemies. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
let's go with that.
You wouldn't want people to think that you hated neo-Nazis.
No. It's actually pretty easy. Fuck them.
Yeah.
I denounce them. There we go.
Yeah.
I denounce you.
Yeah. Let's go out.
Yeah, but in terms of people being confused about whether or not they hate their enemies, what do their sermons about gay folk sound like generally? Do you think?
They're probably denouncements.
Yeah.
I would say, to put it lightly.
One would
I mean, it's okay to hate queer folk, I suppose.
Yeah, but you
I'm
want to
told.
tread lightly
Bring it.
when it comes to speaking ill of neo-Nazis. You don't
yeah.
want
I
you
know,
don't want to
right?
upset.
Some are very fine people.
You don't want to upset those folk.
My God.
Oh, yeah.
It's weird to hear that from you. Even
I didn't mean a word of it.
no, I know that.
It was all
Yeah.
sarcasm.
Yeah, grab all the queer hate you can and come at me, bruh. Is what I have to say to these fools.
Yeah. So, I mean, evangelical
Numbers are up.
numbers
Baptists are down.
Numbers are
Yeah.
up. Southern Baptists are down.
Yeah.
Churn. I hate it.
Yeah, so while the numbers, attendance numbers are fluctuating, apparently the amount of money that they're able to throw around is steadily increasing, which is troubling to say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also,
Sad.
do keep in mind in regards to those attendance numbers and all that I mentioned earlier, nearly 1/4 of Southern Baptist churches do not report data. So those, I mean, do with that what you
limited
will.
data.
Yeah.
Well, what I will say is, in terms of the donations being the total revenue being larger despite lower numbers, it's like when you heat up a virus or your fever becomes hot enough to kill a virus, it multiplies more quickly. It's an act of desperation and the beginning of death throes.
True.
Unless
And-
they successfully install theocracy.
Yeah, I originally said that it was going to be a good story, and then yet somehow
Yeah.
Darn it.
ended
I
up
was gonna say-
not being.
You let me talk. Yeah,
Well,
yeah. I was gonna say.
but it also
That was more of a tease.
it
Yeah.
kind of took a turn when
We found
I
out
had
about the
to mention it.
evangelicals.
I kind of have to mention the evangelicals.
Just as bad, if not worse.
I was going to
Oh,
say,
shit.
so in terms of evangelicals, the evangelical website in it says, oh, what is an evangelical? It's people that believe, this, I think it's 6, 7, I don't know how many points. Is evangelical its own denomination now, or is it?
I don't think so, because it's
I
very
don't know.
Mm.
hard to define, I would say.
Eh,
I mean,
well, I mean,
how would you define evangelical and evangelicalism?
a person who is wrong.
Well,
Generally. Or is an
yeah,
That's a
example.
good question.
of-
I
yeah.
don't know. Yeah.
I think they have a website where they or at
Define
least
it.
one group that says that it gets to determine what. Well, I mean, it's the same thing with Christian. Yeah.
true.
Where should we go next?
You know what? Let's see. Do we want to go with our CBN article?
Our CBN article. We're gonna go for.
we
Sure.
gotta
Yeah.
have at least
We're gonna-
one
we're gonna-
CBN article.
Yeah, yeah. Do you want some shit with this, or is this just
Well,
good old popiness?
let's go ahead and do the shit.
Yeah. Because it's kind of early for CBN and to hear some shit internet apologists say because the Pope has internet now. Pope Francis has officially approved a change to the Lord's Prayer.
I love this so much.
I know, it's it's the thing that I think I started paying attention to when I was in Catholic high school that eventually led me to go, wait a minute, what the fuck is any of this? Right? It's the, when they have rules and conventions about voting to change an authority of a word that blah, 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 and then it's like, how is any of this God? And then they excommunicate you. And here I am.
Oh.
So Pope Francis has officially approved a change to the Lord's Prayer. In Matthew chapter 6, verse 13, turn to that page, ladies and gentlemen, if you decide to waste your brain, that replaces lead us not into temptation with the phrase, do not let us fall into temptation. I know that many of you are very upset and that this changes the spirit of the words and that you've been saying, lead us not into temptation for years.
Every night.
In fact,
Every night
so
before
often
bed.
that
Yeah.
you don't even think about the words anymore. You just repeat them by rote. And now prayer is forcing you to think, and that's sort of the opposite of its purpose. But calm down. There's more to this story. U.S. Catholic reported Monday that the Vatican enacted the change on May 22nd. Wow, I forgot that it took them so long to tell us. People have been saying the Lord's Prayer wrong for so long.
All this time.
Yeah,
Well,
their souls
apparently-
were unprotected from the devil.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean,
I've forgotten how.
They're all going, so that's why my prayer didn't work.
Darn it, another exorcism for me.
wait, who is it that says, like, if you don't say in Jesus' name we pray, at the end of your prayer, the prayer isn't like, that's not a proper prayer unless you say
Oh,
in
weird.
Jesus'
I
name.
think
Okay.
that's a jerk says that to their friends.
Well, I remember it
Does
from...
they also have to say blessings and peace be upon him?
Okay, well, I remember it from the Christian
about-
Mingle movie, so...
Wait, are you talking about the Prophet Muhammad, or like?
Oh, yeah, that would be him. Right.
Right.
I
Oh,
get
that
them
was
all-
deliberately
yeah.
because I was like, wait, are there
Yeah.
Christians that say that too? I don't know. Okay.
I get them mixed up.
Yeah, quit trying to blend the religions together, Dennis. You're confusing me.
So wait,
I can't tell the difference
They're
between
so
the bullshit.
similar.
before you go on, I mean, I thought that this was, God's word. How can we change God's word?
Yeah, but God's
Easy.
spokesperson has done it. So
That's
actually-
true.
So
He's
there's
got a telephone line directly to God.
Yeah.
So he is the only one. He's the only one who gets to do this.
well, he's the official one.
But you think God would have
His-
proofread the thing like centuries ago?
Well, I mean, God. So it's a bit embarrassing, but English is not God's first language.
Oh.
So he has to
No.
rely on the church to speak for him. Give us all your money. Oh wait, sorry. If you'd like to support this show, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/TheNonProphets. Our money will be better used than the money given to the Catholic Church. I can promise you that.
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, we're not going to shuffle any child molesters around.
Yeah.
I mean,
we couldn't if we wanted to.
Yeah.
We don't have any that we're hiding. So
we also don't have another location.
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just couldn't
If
do it.
only we had a larger building. So the Pope believes the new version is better because the first translation implies that God leads people into temptation, an action that is against his nature as a good and holy God. Except that that's not, there's biblical quotations that clarifies that God says that he creates evil as well. Francis,
that's true.
get your shit together and read Isaiah. God.
Literally a semantic argument. Yeah.
I was going to say, although they're Catholic, so they have the capacity to overrule the Bible.
Well, I mean, they don't really have anything new to talk about, so they have to rehash the old shit.
Yeah, that's why they get to, it's ongoing quasi-non-democratic fan fiction.
Yeah,
right?
they've only got the one book.
Editions. Yeah. It's like I don't know how collaborative novel writing works, but it probably ends with a tangled mess, much like the Catholic Church's doctrine. Yeah, so evidently God leading people into temptation is an action that is against his nature as a good and holy God. A father doesn't do that. A father helps you to get up immediately, Francis said of the line in question. It's Satan who leads us into temptation. That's his department.
Is that your Pope Francis voice?
Yeah, I've just settled on it randomly. That's Pope Francis is like modified Keanu Reeves, I think.
I don't know if that.
Oh my God! Please, someone make that meme. You know what? I'll go home and make.
By saying that's Satan's department, are they saying Satan works for God?
I was going to say he's answered. They've answered your question.
The question.
Yeah.
Satan is God's employee.
Yeah.
All right, a manager. Right.
I was going to say he's not really a great manager if one of his employees is running a department counter to the mission of his entire organization.
That would be weird, but I guess somebody has to run the for-profit prison there. I guess.
What? Do they though? Can't we just not have that?
Please.
It's like, I don't mean to be that guy, but like, why do you need prisons in heaven? For years, Christians have wrestled with the actual meaning behind "lead us not." After more than really,
this is what keeps them up at night. I have to assume.
This is why I love CBN.
Yeah.
This right here.
I'm going to see if I can.
It's all been leading up to this.
Christians have wrestled with the actual meaning behind "lead us not." I don't know. I don't have that voice. After more than 16 years of study. Okay. You've had thousands of years to get this right, people. Come on. Quit changing your answers.
Sorry. 16 years studying to try and revise one sentence?
Yeah, they've gone beyond English major PhD situation here. Or that's English doctrine thing.
How many words can an angel write on the head of a pin?
Yeah.
Who knows?
The entire text of A Song of Ice and Fire. Yeah, probably. After more than 16 years of study, some biblical researchers say a better translation of the scripture would be, quote, "Abandon us not when in temptation." The late theologian Charles Surgeon, I didn't give him his name. Charles Surgeon explained during a sermon in 1863.
1863.
Yeah, you didn't have to tell us he was dead if you were going to also tell us he gave a sermon in 1863.
Actually, that's Spurgeon.
Oh, is it? No, that's a much better name,
yes.
I guess.
Yeah.
Although it sounds like a sea urchin in the back of my mind.
He spurged. Yeah.
Jesus.
And then he was shuffled off to another parish.
So wait, okay, that's not what the Pope ended up with. Can you read it again?
Yeah.
So
what he thinks would be better than what the Pope ended up.
So the original line up until May 22nd.
Yeah.
Right. Actually, it says the change was on May 22nd. So until at least May 21st, the correct and Jesus-approved way through his spokesperson, the people in robes in a city of gold, was to say, lead us not into temptation. But the Pope has changed it with do not let us fall into temptation is the new Golden City proclamation.
But this guy said
so
it should have been different.
so it's some biblical researchers say, which is actually phrasing that authors can use to express their own opinion in the middle of the thing.
Exactly.
Some people have said, many people have said, amazing people.
This one guy I was talking to at the bar said, they're
the best people.
Yeah, the best people, so good, praying.
They come up to me and they say, go ahead.
I don't know what your reference was, but presumably they say Jesus, or they say, as some biblical scholars say, a better translation would be, abandon us not when in temptation. So is it God lead us not into temptation, do not let us fall into temptation, or abandon us not when in temptation? Vote now in the most boring, pointless thing. Oh my God. I'm definitely
That's great.
tweeting that poll and it'll show up on ACA Facebook.
Oh, that's great.
Man.
It's going to be fantastic. The late theologian Charles Spurgeon once spurgeoned or explained, as some might say, during a sermon in 1863 that the word temptation in Matthew chapter 6, verse 13 actually holds two meanings. Both the temptation toward sin and the facing of trials and tribulations.
Oh, that's why. Okay. Now I get it.
All right, okay.
It's got
Lead us
two
not
meanings.
into trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
Lead us not into the facing of trials and tribulations. But,
Man,
God,
the Pope is such a fuck up. Man.
he didn't listen to these scholars.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to let you finish.
Just making it up.
I'm going to let you finish, but I just have to say the Pope had one of the greatest music videos of all time. While Spurgeon agrees that God does not tempt us, he does argue that God will send us into trials and tribulations in which temptation towards sin is ever present.
So,
Fuck you.
like
Okay.
life?
This is
So,
yeah,
So, like
basically.
life is going to happen to us?
Yeah, there will be strip clubs and you will walk past them.
Yeah.
Watch out.
wait, what is heaven if not a temptation?
What? You mean it tempts you to...
People want heaven.
Yeah.
Well, I think in temptation is implied to be bad.
Bad? Oh,
Like icky.
okay. Well,
The
Actually,
bad
no.
kind of.
Actually, no, it's not, because it says in which temptation towards sin.
right.
Although with the original line that the Pope changed, lead us not into temptation, you could conclude that temptation is a bad thing because you're praying for God not to do that to you.
Right.
Although if he was a good God, you wouldn't have to ask him to not do bad things
Yes.
to you.
But the whole religion is based on a carrot and a stick.
Yeah,
And that
and-
carrot is tempting.
Yeah. I mean,
And if he's
Get your
omnipotent,
vegetables.
then
Yeah.
none of it matters anyways.
yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah.
keep
Well,
going.
Some of it, no, I don't know.
Let's resolve this.
All right. God tempts no man, Spurgeon said.
Dun, dun,
For
dun.
God to tempt in the sense of enticing to sin, inconsistent with his nature and altogether contrary to his known character. But for God to lead us into those conflicts with evil which we call temptations is not only possible, but usual. So does that just mean that he doesn't do it himself? He sends, he's not going to, perform the hit himself. He's going to send Joe the clamps to finish it off.
Good Spurgeon voice. That's spot on.
I like
Yeah,
it.
thank you. I'm gonna
Sounds
practice
exactly
this.
like him.
Dennis, you're not that old. You weren't around in 1863, and he's the late theologian. So
Or was I?
eventually he died. Oh yeah, maybe he died yesterday.
Skeptic.
It's the skeptic trademark. The Catholic Church is using the Latin Vulgate translation of the Bible to try to determine the best phrasing because they have nothing better to do with their time. It's a commentary added by me. But Spurgeon argues in his sermon that he believes the original Greek version, which says, "Lead us not," is best. Although I don't think it's original Greek if it says "lead us not," because that's English. Dr. Korn Becker of the Regent University School of Divinity agrees with Spurgeon's analysis. He told CBN News, why does any of this happen in the world? Okay, Dr.
Bring more people into this.
Doctor. He has a doctorate. Dr. Korn Becker, who has not wasted his life, of the Regent University School of Divinity, which does not waste anyone's time or money or space that could be used for other things, agrees with Spurgeon's analysis of stuff that really matters. He told CBN News, a worthwhile news reporting entity, that he believes the bigger question is, what is the purpose of temptation? God allows us to be tempted, and I think two things happen. When we get to know ourselves a little bit better, and of course, what we learn is that we have no recourse against sin, but more importantly, we get to know God himself. We have to remember the next phrase in the Lord's Prayer.
I'm so glad I gave this to you.
And deliver us.
I know.
And deliver us from all evil. He's able to do that, Becker explained. A sensible thing that makes sense and relates to reality, to a news source that reports news based on a doctorate that is not worthless from a school that exists in reality. All right.
Wow. You know what? I'm so glad that the Catholic Church is done with all of its controversies and all of that shit, and that they can really get down to the shit that really matters.
Yeah.
I am so glad the Pope didn't have anything better to do.
Yeah, this should take his full attention off of the horrendous fashion choices that are forced on the College of Cardinals when they exit after electing a pope.
It was about time. I mean, it really was.
Brown shoes with those robes?
Oh,
get out of here. Yeah. What were you talking about? If it was that. Yeah.
Wow.
Man. Yes.
And that is why
Tedious semantic arguments. It's awesome.
To be clear, like I would just like to do like a back and forth, side by side of like some people going back and forth debating this between bishops, and then like two Star Trek fans debating about, Kirk versus Picard or something. Or Star Wars fans arguing whether the original extended universe.
There's a lot of other passages in the Bible that could be changed to remove a lot of freaking contradictions.
It's the phrasing that matters.
The 2-part episode counts as 2 episodes, not 1 episode. Fuck you, no it doesn't.
Yes, but it's the same number and the title is all the same except for the 2. That was almost Jordan Peterson, except I can't do that voice.
And you didn't say metaphysical substrate at any point.
I didn't. Lobsters.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So, do we want to go ahead and do either another shit segment, or do we want to do a question?
Dennis, do you have a question that wasn't answered by the Catholic Church today?
Oh gosh,
because we can
go back.
The Pope that was bugging me for a while now. That was bugging me. I'm glad that the Pope finally figured that out.
I can come up with a question here.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, so actually, hold on. Let me circle back.
Sure.
Because my understanding is that things released by the Vatican, because I didn't read the original Latin. I know I skimped on my homework, but that they're released in Latin officially. And so if he's trying to clarify the phrasing of different ways of translating the Latin phrase, how can you tell in the...
I don't know.
I'm going to write that down to look up later.
That's why they're called scholars.
That's not why they're called scholars. It's because there's people that do spend their time learning things that are called scholars, and the robe-wearing Gold City living people want to seem important.
Yeah, this stuff's important.
The Vatican.
Stuff's super important, guys.
Oh, yeah.
You got to take it seriously.
Exact phrasing.
I know, right? How many times do I have to say Hail Mary along the beads before God grants my wish of a pony? He hasn't done it yet, so...
it must be another one.
Yeah. That or I'm making up for all the sins of my Saturday nights.
So what do we want to do? We're doing
Let's
a
do
little
some
bit of
more
free form right now.
Oh, wait, did you have a question yet? Too slow. Let's do shit.
Okay.
Do shit.
Well, that's you again, Jamie.
Oh. Brace yourself for more shit that internet apologists say.
You're having fun tonight.
Yeah.
The voices are good, man.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to practice them.
I hear them
Give
all
them
the time.
names in my head.
So,
Oh, sorry. I thought you were reading one of yours.
No.
Okay. No, all right.
No.
Damn it, Jamie.
I didn't pull up the thing.
I said it was free form.
Well,
the other thing.
I was distracted by the Pope being ridiculous. Although I can't really use that as an excuse.
and his
'cause then
entire
it's just
organization.
Anytime I think about the
Yeah. So we also had elections recently. Congratulations, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Re-elected.
another thing that happened since our last episode. Yeah.
I'm trying not to get one of the super downer ones because actually I was able to not bring people down in terms of the stories I've read. No, wait, that's the Satanic Church is great.
Well, I mean, yeah. The Satanic Church is freaking awesome.
The Satanic Temple.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah,
Satanic
got
Temple.
Got the cool stuff. So I can report that fucking pop-ups. Go away. You're interrupting my story thing.
Great
This is
radio
why you
right now.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna
Dennis.
say, this is
Yeah.
save us.
Do you have a story that you
I
want to do?
do have a story.
Jamie is dealing with pop-ups.
I was
Yes.
just reading it
Yeah.
here.
Okay.
Report. Megachurch pastor James McDonald tried to hire hitman to kill son-in-law.
Ooh.
Wait,
Okay.
go on.
Yeah, well, megachurch pastor James McDonald, founder of Harvest Bible Chapel, is under investigation for trying to hire a hitman to kill his former son-in-law. McDonald, a former member of President Donald Trump's Evangelical Advisory Board, is under investigation for allegedly trying to hire a hitman to murder his former son-in-law.
I forgot
How many
that
different ways
existed.
can they say this?
He was wait, what was he trying to do? He was trying to hire the hitman to do what?
To kill his former son-in-law.
Former son-in-law.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I went
son-in-law.
right
Yes.
into that.
Wait,
yeah.
is he former son-in-law
He's-
because he succeeded in the murder, or are they divorced?
I don't know. The Christian Post reports police in Illinois are currently investigating allegations that Harvest Bible Chapel founder James McDonald sought to hire a hitman to commit murder. A subject came in and filed a report, and we are doing an investigation based on that report.
Wait, it's the Harvest Bible, is what it said.
Harvest Bible Chapel founder.
Interesting. I have heard. I forget.
The way you say it. Every time.
What?
Okay, so what was he trying to hire the hitman to do?
God damn it.
Damn it.
I forget who it was. I think somebody.
What a hypocrite.
According
pretty
to
recently, yeah.
According to a report filed by independent journalist Julie Roys, McDonald is being accused by his former bodyguard Emmanuel Manny Bukur and Chicago radio personality Mancow Mueller of trying to hire a hitman to kill former son-in-law Tony Groves. Okay, now we have names to go with the...
That and by analyzing the semantics of the way that was written, just like the Catholic Church taught us to do, we can determine that he was trying to kill his former son-in-law. So therefore, his son-in-law was his former son-in-law when he hired a hitman to try and kill his former son-in-law.
Sure.
Yeah.
Although if you said the sentence, it would be great.
Mueller alleges that McDonald asked him at least twice in 2018 if he knew a hitman he could hire. Initially, he thought that the HBC founder was joking, but it became clear to him during a conversation in December that McDonald was really serious. Bucher alleged that about 3 years before that, in 2015, McDonald asked him to kill his former son-in-law, Tony Groves, and offered to help dispose of the body. Bucher alleges that McDonald asked him to kill Groves while they were on a motorcycle trip to the Creation Museum in Petersburg, Kentucky, from July 31st, 2015 to August 2nd, 2015. Oh, that would have been awesome. A murder at the Creation Museum? Wow!
I feel like that's like the Christians trying to get in on the murder mystery thing.
I don't know, man.
At the Creation Museum.
How fucking shady are you?
The Jesus gang's going to solve the mystery.
The first time you proposition someone to carry out a murder for you, they're like, he's not super serious. You have to do it twice.
Apparently, yeah.
Well, no.
How shady are you?
Wait, was he asking his friend to be the hitman? I thought he was just asking for like.
No, if he knew someone who could.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's just trying to get the discount, right?
Yeah.
That joke didn't scan.
No.
It's just almost everything that is reported of that's going on is just so ridiculous. I can't stick with it. Like, what are you doing, man? Why? Was there money?
He just didn't like the guy? He just didn't like the guy.
Just pray for God to smite him, or wait until he dies and think about hell.
Murder his former son-in-law while on a trip to the Creationist Museum. Boy, that would be awesome.
Enough faith to something mustard seed.
Then you can have a better burger.
Your prayer will be answered. So just have more faith, I guess.
Yeah.
More faith.
I was going to say, maybe it's that, I'm assuming that when it's tried to hire a hitman to kill son-in-law, it means that he wasn't even able to successfully hire a hitman.
Right. That is the case.
Yeah, should have used Indeed. They're pretty good at finding you people to hire, so I've heard. But it's probably that God was protecting him because he was on his way to visit the giant non-boat that got hit with rainwater.
This is the Creationist Museum.
Oh, well, God doesn't care about that.
Dinosaurs and
they're pretty close by, I think.
Yeah, they're
aren't they?
Yeah, they're but I know someone that lives in the middle of in between them.
Wow, cool.
Jeff Blackwell, or
no, he's trapped. And he's behind enemy lines. He's a partisan in the war for not being ridiculous, or at least not being ridiculous in a dangerous way. I oppose not being ridiculous.
Well, that's my story.
Yeah. Okay.
Cut me off because I'm talking too much.
Yeah.
Are you prepared now, Jamie?
I am ready.
All right.
So
this is again.
Yeah, okay, I'm ready now for the shit in and out of politics. Say, Florida rep.
I did say it was freeform today.
Yes. A mistake you will not make again unless we get a bunch of thumbs up, likes, or something.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe. If you'd like to support us on Patreon, when you send the money, you can ask them to cut me off more or to let me talk more. You decide by going to patreon.com/ I almost said the one for the other show. /TheNonProphets.
Yeah. Don't hire a hitman. That's not the way to do it.
Yeah, also don't do that.
I denounce hitmen.
Yes.
See how easy that is, guys?
Let's go out on that limb and denounce hitmen.
I announce denouncement.
So I'm totally going to play the game.
Oh, yeah. Was there a new one? I don't know.
Oh, you were saying.
So Florida Rep Mike Hill has said that God told him to introduce the abortion ban with no exceptions for rape. God was very specific also about how to word the paragraphs.
Wow.
And even God knows that you should use an Oxford comma. God made him do it, is basically...
Does he, though? He fucked up that prayer.
Well, did he, though? Maybe that was the...
Maybe that was us.
Are we the non-prophets?
Mere mortals
it's the
screwed
theme. It up. No one knows anything, particularly people that think they know God. So Florida Rep Mike Hill claims that God spoke to him in a non-crazy person way. I'm adding some commentary here. Yes. In a non-crazy way, and told him to introduce an abortion ban with no exceptions for rape, incest, or the life of the mother, which is totally different than what he would have done otherwise without the excuse of God talking to him, again, in a non-crazy way. So the Pensacola, where all good things come from.
And you said this was a random, just schizophrenic hobo person, right?
No. So it's a non-crazy God voice. Get that out of the
Yeah, but this person
Mike
doesn't
Hill
have
is a
any power, right?
No. He's a representative in the state government of Florida. The great sunshiny, orange-having, Pensacola-bearing state of Florida.
He rules over Florida, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry to the
But
rest of
you
Florida.
understand my
Pensacola's
confusion.
there.
I thought surely, a crazy person wouldn't have a significant position of power within our government.
I was going to say, well, one,
Surely.
you haven't been watching any news outlet about anything at all.
I got hit on the head real bad this morning, so...
Yeah, you might not be the only one, because there's this guy named Mike Hill that says that there was a voice that told him to pass an abortion ban with no exceptions for rape, incest, or the life of the mother. So the Pensacola News Journal reports, Florida Rep. Mike Hill told a group in Pensacola on Thursday that God told him to sponsor a bill next year to ban nearly all abortions, much like the bill that passed in Alabama earlier this month. Because, God is a copycat as well. Speaking at the meeting of Women for Responsible Legislation, that's it at Pensacola City Hall. I'm so sorry to everyone in Women for Responsible Legislation that have to deal with Pensacola City Hall. You are braver than I. Rep. Hill, someone that knows why I'm trashing all over Pensacola, is loving these otherwise unbelievably obscure jokes, but unfortunately those will be the last of them.
Yeah, I'm not.
Rep. Hill said, "As plain as day, God spoke to me. He said that wasn't my bill. He said that wasn't my bill, talking about the heartbeat detection bill that I filed. He said that wasn't my bill. I knew immediately what he was talking about. He said, you remove those exceptions and you file it again. And I said, yes, Lord, I will. It's coming back. It's coming back. We're going to file that bill without any exceptions, just like what we saw passed in Alabama," said the person who definitely didn't just pass as restrictive an abortion ban as he could and then get an idea to be even more of an ass after Alabama did it. It's always problematic and a big red flag whenever anyone claims that God is speaking to them.
You think?
I mean, I don't know. Could it be? Is that a classic telltale sign for, whatever? You shouldn't take advice from YouTube shows or podcasts, but in general, seek out a mental health professional.
If you're genuinely hearing voices.
If you're hearing voices and it says it's God, ask for its ID.
Yeah. Well, to be clear, there's a difference between an internal monologue and experiencing an auditory hallucination, right? Like you experience it as if there's some inane person wearing a T-shirt from the show that he's on, like some kind of promotional hack that just keeps going on and on and on. But as it says, it's always a problematic big red flag if you experience this, that God is literally speaking to you. But I'm not fake, so you're stuck with me. For a politician to claim that God spoke to him in a cruel attempt to deny women their right to reproductive freedom is simply deplorable. Says, hey, leave the editorializing to me, thank you. So the Hill also reported, because apparently he was talking about not needing a woman to sponsor his bill.
Right.
And he's talking about his GOP colleagues, the desire that his colleagues in the grand old party, the Republican Party, to have a woman be the face of an abortion ban for the state for obvious fucking PR reasons.
Yeah, they generally like to be able to tokenize whatever demographic that they're
See, the woman agrees with us as well, so we're right. Thank you. Now make me a sandwich. Quote them, not me.
Okay, so he was like, "Oh, we don't need our token, female to pass this."
Yeah,
like I don't know. I don't even know what to say to that.
All right. So, what he's saying, another reason I heard that we only needed to file one pro-life bill per session because he's filing it again, or at least that's what he assured God that he would do, and then did. His colleagues said, "Oh, well, it seems to be accepted more, particularly during debate, when a woman is presenting it." Oh, I've forgotten if I gave him a voice already.
Wow.
No.
Yeah. All right.
Ugh.
Yeah. They did that during. I mean, they do that all the time. But
Yeah, they do.
when they had, God, I forget her name, was doing the questioning. For the Supreme Court asshole.
The prosecutor that questioned oh my God.
Yeah, the entire
Kavanaugh's
Kavanaugh
hearing. Yeah, Senate hearing.
Blasey Ford.
Yeah, was the person who was being
She was being questioned by a woman representing a ton of, Christian white,
representing the
old
Republican
old
Party.
white Christian.
They were like,
Party.
well, it will look bad if we question this person aggressively. Hey, girl, get in here. Go, sick 'em.
We're going to sit behind a woman and have her ask our fucking stupid,
loaded
sexist
leading questions.
I mean,
Yeah.
to be clear, when was the last time that the GOP let a woman take the lead? So progress? At least they're fighting progress.
Hashtag feminism.
And letting women join in their fight against progress. Let's see. Not much more of what he says is even as funny, but he kind of makes a point against
I don't think any
is,
of it's funny.
Well, I mean, I have a sort of dark sense of wow, really? I mean, that's what you think? That's what you think? Are you sure about that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, cool. You should say that again publicly. That's sort of where I'm at right now, which is, he's responding to his colleague saying, "Oh, a woman should present it." And I said, "Wait a minute. 100% of all pregnancies are caused by a man. So why can't a man be involved in this? And what child is that there? 50% chance it's going to be a man. Why can't a man present this? That doesn't hold any water with me at all," he said, entirely missing the point his colleagues were making.
Fucking believable asshole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you carrying it for 9 months, you dickhole?
Yeah. Although it's interesting because there's
Thank you, Dennis.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Jeez.
all the bills that are criminalizing, women getting abortions or whatever in states with the death penalty, capital crimes, murdering women for wanting to have control over their own bodies. What's new? But there's like the sort of counter bills or the joke bills, the counterpoints of like, okay, well, 100% of pregnancies are caused by men.
Right.
Men be involved here. Oh, if life begins at conception, shouldn't that trigger child support payments? Right? Like the apply your logic consistency. And apparently,
Yes.
This human being whose mother I'm sure cares for him still has stumbled into that argument without understanding what he said.
Cool.
Which I found
I'm shocked. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
I'm
the religious are the master of unintended consequences.
yes. It's big. The devil.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
So I think he's an asshole and a liar, and I don't genuinely believe that God talked to him. But if he genuinely thinks that God talked to him, I think that should be somewhat disqualifying for him to hold office. If you were genuinely mentally ill in that way,
Well, it's
maybe
either
you
you're mentally ill or you're being influenced by a foreign national.
maybe you shouldn't be trusted.
God is not American.
I was like, what the fuck
God does not have a social security number. He's not a citizen.
That's because he's
And
a
so
true
you're
libertarian.
being
He's off the
influenced
grid.
by some weird
Yeah, I don't want to paint
un-American
He's
guy.
not American. American is him.
I don't want to paint with a broad brush and say that people with mental illnesses are, not trustworthy or anything like that. Just to be clear.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But
It's always good to be clear. And I mean, also, it's possible for a person to believe that they've heard the voice of God, but not experience it as an auditory hallucination, or at least I think it would be. I don't have the clinical chops to know that.
They feel it in their bosom.
Yeah, I think everybody knows what I mean, but I wanted to clarify that.
It's always good to be.
Just because we're on the air. you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Never be opaque.
Yeah. So, wow. Yeah.
I've thrown off your entire time.
Well, I have a more amusing story if you want.
You have a what now?
A more amusing story.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
it's
please.
been amusing tonight. Yep.
All right. Owners of biblical replica of Noah's Ark sue over rain damage.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know this.
Yes, this happened pretty much during our last episode, but
We can laugh
around
at it
to it.
anyways,
Yes.
damn it.
Yeah.
The owner of the life-size replica of Noah's Ark in northern Kentucky has sued its insurers for refusing to cover rain damage. Ark Encounter, which unveiled the 510-foot-long model in 2016, says that heavy rains in 2017 and 2018 caused a landslide on its access road, and its 5 insurance carriers refused to cover the nearly $1 million in damages. In a 77-page lawsuit filed in U.S. District Court, Ark Encounter asked for compensatory and punitive damages. The Ark itself was not damaged, and the road has been rebuilt, according to the suit. The park is open, said Mulaney Etheridge, a spokesman at the attraction's Dallas-based public relations firm, who only laughed when informed that Ark Encounter had sued over flood damage.
So they technically call that an act of God.
She says, you got to
I-
get to the boat to be on the boat.
Yeah.
Wait,
It's funny because
Yeah.
it's...
They're going to blame this for their poor attendance records for like the next 2 years.
Oh, probably.
Oh,
sure, why not?
Yep. Yeah. So wait, to see a legal filing like on behalf of Answers in Genesis or the Ark Park that included an argument about this being an act of God or not being an act of God. There's something poetic about that, and I just
Yeah. Just
wow,
fucking fantastic.
I got there and then had no commentary. Yeah,
Wow.
it really is though.
Tickets to the Ark and nearby Creation Museum are $75 for adults and $24 for children. Jeez.
Yeah, I wasn't able to make it to AACon this year. I know a couple of people from the con went over to the Ark Encounter, or was it Creation Museum? They were invited over there by Ray Comfort.
Oh yeah, they were having
Yeah.
a whole. No, I don't think it was the actual park. I think they were having their own convention down the way.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were trying to do like a swapsy, like, oh hey, we'll go to yours if you come to ours, but no dice. They didn't. They forgot to bring their bananas, so they had nothing to
Right.
close off our game with. I slept soundly, no nightmares.
I am so waiting for the Ark Encounter to fail.
Yes, it would be nice.
It's already a failure just on its face.
You mean financially?
Yeah, financially, I just want to see it completely collapse, and I would love to see what gets done with it afterwards.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
We do need a larger building, but we're probably not going to move out of Austin.
Yeah, it would kind of mess up the name.
Yeah.
Just a little.
It's in Kentucky. The Atheist Community of Kentucky just doesn't have the same ring to it.
Ack.
Yeah.
I say atheist community all over the place.
That's right.
Now we're sticking in Austin. All right.
Okay.
Knocked it out.
Yeah, you know what? I guess do we want to go into the next thing?
Yeah. let's do
Okay.
it.
I have something from Religious News Service.
Yeah, it's-
Judge freezes account for Florida church, Florida again, caught up in an alleged Ponzi scheme. So
Wait, a church is being held accountable for potentially breaking the law?
yeah, but they're trying not to be.
Well, I guess it's money. Then, okay.
Yeah. So the pastor of a megachurch in West Palm Beach, Florida, is refusing to hand over $1.7 million despite claims by federal prosecutors that the funds belong to people caught up in a $30 million Ponzi scheme run by a former church director.
Damn.
Now, the scheme was conducted by, again, the former church director and some other guy out of Canada. Doesn't matter who he is. The duo allegedly convinced hundreds of people to invest in Argyle Coin LLC, which claimed to be a cryptocurrency business related to diamonds.
Why would it? Okay, so Argyle
Coin LLC.
Is that from the? It's weird that this is where I'm stuck with. Is that from the Latin? They've spelled it with a Y. All right, they should be shut down.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Semantics. I don't care. Some of their money turned up at Winter's Church, which again had that guy Amon as the director. According to the new lawsuit, Amon gave $1 million to the church from 2014 to 2018. Gave the church founder Bishop Fred Shipman $700,000, and also allegedly gave Fred Shipman's son, another pastor, $40,000 during the same time period.
Okay.
So the question is, where'd that money come from?
Well, it came from the people.
Came from the Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, it came from the people that they scammed.
Yeah. Well, no, I got that, but they're trying to come up with an alternate. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to let you finish the story and then ask questions for things you haven't answered.
Yeah.
No way.
So on Thursday,
The Jeff.
an attorney for the SEC told U.S. District Judge Robin Rosenberg that the church and the Shipmans should return the funds given.
Yeah.
Return the funds given that the SEC can retrieve the money for the victims of the scheme. So
Yep.
return the money that you were given by a fraud so the government can reimburse the people that were defrauded.
Right.
You know? Pretty simple. But Carl Schopel, the lawyer representing the Shipmans and the church, argued that Winter's Church, I said Winters before, Winter's Church can't be forced
much better.
To turn over the money because it's a nonprofit religious institution.
Wait.
No.
I was going to say,
Sorry.
that's not even a tax scheme. That's just one hell of a,
So,
wow.
yeah, you can't force us because we're a church.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're allowed to take your money for whatever reason we
we're allowed to
say.
take dirty money. Yeah, sure.
From our former director. He pointed to a Florida statute that allows religious organizations to accept funds, quote, received in good faith, noting that neither the church nor the Shipmans were aware of Amon's operation. I'm going to put air quotes on that.
Sure.
Bishop Shipman called the funds God's blessing and told the judge that giving them up would have a ripple effect through everything we do from this point on.
Yeah, we wouldn't have as much money to spend.
Yeah.
And that's would affect
So he says,
God.
We don't want to give up our dirty money.
We want our special rights.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want
fuck your special
an exemption
rights.
from the law because we're a church, because fuck you.
Yeah, I mean, to be clear, they should give the people their money back, and then they should sue the guy that gave them bad money for giving them money that they then counted on. But they're not going to do that. They're just going to keep the money they have and go, we're a church, fuck off. Prediction. I am not a prophet, but I have a prediction.
Let's kind of break this down a little bit. Churches, they're nonprofits, but they are not obligated to disclose any of their financial records. So they cannot. They can only really claim to be charities without necessarily proving it. I mean, they can. Some churches do disclose their financial earnings and all that, but most churches don't. They only claim to be a charity. They don't prove it.
Yeah.
They claim to be doing a public good, a public service.
Jesus.
And, helping the community and the people around them. And that they're, making the world a better place. Hundreds of people were defrauded, and plausibly, I don't know, to the extent to which these people lost their money. I know that most people in America, they live paycheck to paycheck, and any major medical accident or diagnosis or whatever can, they're right on the edge of poverty. So how many of these people that were defrauded by this Ponzi scheme that was in part led by a church director had their lives shattered?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. At least a few.
Probably more than a few.
Yeah. And
I think this is an opportunity for a church to take the high ground.
Yeah.
To go, yes, we were wrong to accept this dirty money. Here, take it back.
Yeah. We didn't know that it was dirty money, and we didn't know that our former director shattered the lives of possibly hundreds of people by defrauding them. Mm-hmm. We're going to do the right thing. We're going to do the godly thing, and we're going to return that money.
We're going to be a charitable organization and an attempt to help those in financial need with the great financial resources that we have at our disposal.
Yeah.
Is what the church did not say or do.
Yes, we're going to struggle against justice just as hard as we can.
Mm-hmm. I mean, par for the course.
As far as not surprising.
Go. But it's still... It hurts to hear something like that. This is a real shame. They might eventually be pressured into doing the right thing, but let's keep in mind that they're going to be pressured to do it. They are refusing to do the right thing.
If they do the right thing, it's only because they've been caught.
Yeah, exactly.
Doing the wrong thing.
Yep. Talking some shit, basically. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a good point that you make, because it's something like 50% of the U.S. population can't come up with $400 on short notice.
Yeah.
Right.
Without, selling something or preparing something, et cetera. And so, what was the exact number in billion, trillion, gazillions?
I threw it on the ground, but they're being asked to return $1.7 million, I think.
Okay. Someone, let's see. Well, you can divide that by 400, and then
counting
like human lives.
Old time kind of conventional wisdom doesn't apply anymore. It used to be, the rule is you should have in your savings account enough to get by for 6 months if you lose your job. Mm-hmm. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah, no shit.
That's just not a thing anymore for the vast, overwhelming majority of the country. And
they're just waiting to be homeless.
The human suffering that has been exacerbated by this Ponzi scheme is, I don't even know, we couldn't possibly calculate it. And these assholes are just sitting on their hands saying, well, we don't have to give up the money, so we're not gonna.
Yep.
And yet
that would affect
they claim
what we do.
And they presume to lecture us on morality.
Yeah. I'm sure they claim to be a moral authority within their community.
Yeah.
And go fuck themselves.
All right.
Yeah.
This
week, Kevin is the downer, and I am ridiculous.
I thought I was always a downer.
Well, you had the best voices, man.
Yeah. Well, usually I bring up lots of rape and talk about how it's terrible and happening everywhere and that the church is covering it up. But this week, I didn't, and Kevin brought up some shit. So
there you go.
Okay. Let's move on. Do we want to do a question?
Dennis.
Well, let's see if I can phrase a question.
Mm-hmm.
But you have the question.
Do I have a question?
That is the question I'm asking you about.
Yes.
This is a game called Let's See If I Can Get Dennis to Be Violent.
Christians often assert that we're atheists just because we want to sin, right? But isn't it true that you can sin as much as you want as a Christian and automatically be forgiven?
Yeah.
All you have to do is go, I'm really sorry. And then it's all cool.
It depends on your type of Christian, because in some cases you don't have to do that. God just assumes that God knows already that you're a fuck up.
Yeah. Actually, there was another...
Wow.
Yeah. There was a story that I was... There was a story that I was going to do.
It's always worse.
But wait, it's worse, because in that one, it doesn't matter whether you believe or not. You can still do shitty things and be the same.
Yeah.
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 There's a story that I was going to do that relates to that somewhat, and it's the Catholic Church, and it has to do with the confessions. But I'm gonna go ahead and punt that to next episode.
Oh, all right.
Because it's a little lengthy. So phrasing.
Yeah.
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 I mean, they don't sin any less than us.
right. But
Yeah.
they think, the thing is, they think their God is omnipresent.
Yeah.
So when they do sin, they're sinning right in God's face.
Yep.
And that's supposedly what they believe.
Yes, Timmy, you sinned right in God's face. You might have thought you were alone in the room with the door locked, but that was God's face. So
Oh, no.
someone's not
Divine
getting into
bukkake? What?
heaven.
Oh, jeez.
No. you would.
Well, that
I
kinda
did go there.
that kind of shoots down the whole argument of, humans in general need religion because they need that sword hanging over their head. Otherwise, they're just going to run rampant.
Right.
Yeah.
But then
You know,
they run rampant because they've got automatic forgiveness of the sword.
I was gonna say,
What
you're
good
just
is the sword then?
Yeah, I was gonna say you're just a Christian because you want to sin.
Yeah, you're just
Yeah.
a Christian because you want to sin and get away with it.
Yeah.
We don't
And boom, there you go.
We don't get to, forgive ourselves in our own head and pretend that it's our imaginary friend forgiving us for the thought crime or whatever.
Right.
We have actual consequences, and we have a conscience. If we do something wrong, we don't get to just forgive ourselves or pretend that Sky Daddy forgave us and absolve ourselves.
Yes, because
We
it's
have-
weird. They get to
Yeah.
be automatically forgiven by a third party.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not
they
the
get to
people they
just-
wronged.
Yeah. Well, they're going
get
to
to
the
just
judge
say-
to get it.
Yeah. There's no proof that, they're third party.
It's like forgiveness
They
by
forgave
proxy.
Faith. Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They decide whether or not the Sky Daddy forgave them.
Oh, God.
Well, they know. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
And
it's basically-
conveniently,
know.
it always forgives them.
Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah. If you don't believe, you have to actually
convenient.
ask the person for forgiveness, Kevin.
Yeah.
So
Or
that's that's all.
We don't get to just decide that we're forgiven. We have a conscience, and we have if we do something wrong, we have guilt that we have to deal with in our own minds. And
Yeah.
to an extent, you can just go ahead and say, "Fuck it, I forgive myself."
Yeah.
But
That wouldn't be the right
if
thing for you to
forgiveness
do.
is just automatic, of what value is forgiveness?
yeah, it's not quite the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, it cheapens forgiveness.
Yeah, it's always better when you ask for forgiveness. You gotta ask for it and recognize.
Or even
your
work
guilt.
for it.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin. So it's
And if you can't get forgiven, then you have
gotta
to
be
live
smart.
with it.
I'm sorry, Jamie. Please forgive me.
no.
What did I do?
You've ruined my joke now.
Oh,
It's like-
shit.
It was shitty anyway. Yeah. I keep hearing the Christian apologetic answers in my head. Stevens.
I mean,
I'm sure.
Oh, what good is forgiveness? Oh, God's grace is blah, 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 so good. Blah, 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 blah. So
But it's
they
cheaper.
give lengthier and more
Yeah.
English words in their answers, but it all sounds the
I
same.
feel like
to me.
you glossed over a little bit of the nuance there.
Yep,
Yeah.
little bit. God's grace, good. Period.
That's right.
Summarized. It's the one time when I can be succinct.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean the counter argument is garbage. So
I was gonna say. A summary of their argument. Bullshit.
That's right.
Succinctness.
Made up crap. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
I mean, I agree. I think that they're religious because they want to sin. And I think that actually, by their own logic, makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really does. They're the purveyors of forgiveness. So it's like, yeah, how convenient, Join in and you'll be automatically forgiven everything you do wrong.
I was
That
gonna
is
say-
cool, man. It lets my conscience off the hook. I don't have to worry about anything anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny is it gets worse for the reasoning and for the person in that. Because there's also the once saved, always saved. No, actually, it doesn't matter what you do.
Oh, God.
You can try and live up to the standard, and you should, but you'll never meet it because you're fallen and broken and terrible, and you should feel shitty about always being forgiven by God, who's great, even before you do shit that's bad.
Yeah, you're inherently garbage, and
Both
you
of the
need
bad parts,
to.
extreme. Yeah.
Right. And inherently garbage.
You're garbage.
Well, that gives me an excuse to sin. I'm
Yeah.
garbage.
True. Yeah,
They've got the
that's absolutely true.
And that's another thing. They teach you,
It's kind of a
evolution is bad because it treats people like animals, and so animals just behave any way they want.
Yeah, well, it's kind of a
It's the same
self-fulfilling
thing
prophecy
here, dude.
You know, if you say that I'm broken and that I'm garbage, and that I'm inherently meant to be this sinful creature.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, if you teach
absolutely.
children that they're just
Again,
an animal,
yeah.
what's to stop them from acting like an animal? Well, if you teach them that they're garbage, what's to stop them from acting like garbage?
It again lets them off the hook.
Yeah, but they are going to act like garbage because they're terribly broken the way that God made them. Wait a minute. Wait, they're terribly broken the way that God made them in His image.
In His-
Wait a minute. Yeah.
Oh, it's all because somebody ate an apple, though. So-
Well, I mean,
So-
Well,
okay.
hey, God said that was His, and someone ate the food, and that's not how communal food works, guys. You guys can't be my roommates in this garden anymore. Get gone.
well, I mean, if God is that entity that was talking to that state representative, yeah, he's garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Florida state representative.
That's
God,
not my
yeah.
bill. File it again. Like, okay, you could at least be polite when commanding people to do terrible things, right? Like some decorum.
Yeah, I
maybe?
mean, he's God though. He doesn't have to be.
Let's raise the
polite.
level of discourse here, please, when talking about terrible encroachments on human rights.
Yeah.
So we can certainly reason with these people, right?
Or can we? Or
Yeah.
can
Or
we?
can we?
Are we the non-prophets? Do we know?
I don't know.
Someone in the chat, I have to say this, I try not to bring the live chat in too much. It's just got, don't spurgeon in God's face.
Yes. I was saying, divine bukake. Yes, it's not.
jeez.
Well done,
Ay,
Skip.
ay, ay,
Southerner.
ay, ay.
Yep. So, do we have one more story? I think we got just
Let's
a tiny bit
see.
of time here.
I do.
Okay.
Go for it.
Although it's nope, never mind. We already covered that one. Crap.
Okay. I mean, I've
was-
got
it was
one
from my-
more. Do we want to do?
Yeah, do one more. It was in my file of backups, but it was one that I'd already used and had.
Aha.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take it away. This is
did
actually
anyone pray for Trump on National Pray for Trump Day or something?
no.
No.
It's a surprise. I don't know why. I
Yeah.
asked.
Wow. It's
It's just sort of. I was like,
Straw poll,
we'll talk
yeah.
about it.
I've heard plenty of people say, yes,
Yes.
I prayed that he was gone, but
I was gonna say you should hashtag pray for Trump as long as that's all you do in support of him. That's
I've been
fine.
enjoying the master British trolling going on, but other than that,
Wait, what? Oh, of the Okay.
yeah, the
Well,
visit.
now you're trying to tell a story, and we won't
Yeah.
let you get.
I'm
Go
going
for
to
it.
go ahead and power through this. This is actually the thing that I said that I was going to punt for next episode, but
Go.
I'm going to try and get through it.
Mm-hmm.
This is from May 30th. This is again from Religious News Service. California lawmakers threaten to break confidentiality of confession to find abusers.
Oh,
Yeah.
But God will be
Interesting.
so mad that you found the rapists.
The government is going to be breaking into the confessional booth, so to speak.
huh.
Oh, that's Satan.
Breaking with a long tradition of clerical privilege. I got to write this down.
Yeah.
Clerical
I accidentally
privilege.
wrote-
Yeah.
This,
I accidentally read that as cervical privilege
the first time hit through the first time through. Guys,
before the show.
it's a better privilege, I think.
Clerical privilege, not cervical.
I think
California is edging toward requiring
Requiring.
priests and other church employees to inform authorities that they, if they learn of child sex abuse during sacramental confession. Again, May 31st, the California State Senate passed a bill that would require priests to report child abuse if they learn about it while hearing the confession of a fellow priest or colleague. The
Wait.
bill,
Oh, wait. Restricted to other priests?
yes, it is restricted specifically
Wait.
for priest-on-priest action.
Wow.
Wait.
Priest-on-priest confession,
Wait. Why
That's interesting.
Is it? I guess then they'd get more argument from Jesus. Jesus defense box.
The bill, which passed overwhelmingly with a 30-4 vote for abstaining, the amendment was, from its original version, would have required the priest to report abuse they learn in any confession.
Oh, okay.
So that was the original bill. And it got narrowed to be just if another priest tells you that he's, raping some kid.
Right.
Or any other crime, I guess.
Well, it says sexual abuse, right?
Okay,
Or,
yeah.
Oh no, report child abuse.
Yeah, child
specifically.
abuse. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So yep. All right. They had to narrow the narrow bill even more narrowly in order to get it to.
I guess if when and if this passes, non-priests can still admit to child sexual abuse to a priest and not have to worry about that priest, saying anything to the authorities.
Well, how else are they supposed to coordinate and get moved to a new parish if
Yeah.
they can't talk to each other about it?
Right, yeah.
They have to have the safety box of no laws exist here.
Moving on. But even the altered version of the bill is sparking outrage among Catholic leaders. Oh,
Well,
wow.
yeah, you would think.
I didn't see
it
that
as
coming.
forcing priests and other clergy either to comply with the law and violate the sacramental seal of the confession or defy authorities and risk arrest. The California Catholic Conference decried the bill in a statement describing it as a, quote, attack on the sanctity of the confessional, and noting that under church law, any priest who violates the seal of confession is automatically excommunicated.
Excommunicated. Don't you report that crime. Don't do it. Excommunication. Yep.
Thank you,
Sorry,
Jamie.
just yep.
The suffering of the children doesn't matter.
Really, that's your position? Is it? Are you sure that's your position? All right. Okay, you should let everyone know that's your position and say it again many times in public.
I did want to draw attention to that specifically because it is important to remember, because it's so easy for me especially to forget that they really believe this bullshit, and they really believe that excommunication is, eternal condemnation to hell. So, yes, they really. We're going to go ahead and take them at their word and believe them when they say they really truly believe that, even though it's other garbage that they can't substantiate.
To save abused children, they're unwilling to sacrifice themselves.
Yes.
Okay.
So
cool.
Your garbage beliefs, while you may sincerely believe them, do not supersede the rights of your victims and of your friends' victims.
Yeah.
So,
but what about
go fuck yourself?
Yeah. Actually, if they went and fucked themselves, they wouldn't have this problem.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Moving
it's actually the
on.
best.
I wanted to draw attention to that because, yes, they believe it. Doesn't matter. It still doesn't matter that they think that they're going to go to hell forever.
Yep. More opportunities to be the good guys squandered.
Yes.
Yeah.
No shit. Same old story. In a separate interview with Religion News Service, a spokesman for the conference argued that the narrowing of the bill only sharpens opponents' argument that it violates religious freedom for revisions and is discriminatory.
That's the opposite of
targeted directly at priests. So but
so instead of violating what they see as everyone's religious liberty, they're violating a smaller number of people's religious liberty, thus strengthening the argument that it's directed at religious liberty.
Well, let's hear him out for a second here.
All right. Well,
quote: "The more you narrow it down, the more unconstitutional it gets," the spokesman said. The spokesman added that while Catholic officials won't prepare any legal challenges before the bill passes in California's lower chamber, they wouldn't rule out potential future lawsuits. Of course, you don't want to. You're not going to, if it doesn't pass the lower chamber, you don't want to have a big PR thing about it because only Religious News Service and the nonprofits and a handful of other people are talking about this at the moment.
dumb thing to report. Like, it's clearly the religious news service or something like it, where it's like, but they haven't ruled out a lawsuit. I haven't ruled out a lawsuit against my shoes, right? Like, what action is not ruling out a lawsuit?
Well, the spokesperson for the Catholic officials said that.
It says we haven't ruled out a lawsuit.
Like, well, we might
out a lawsuit?
throw a bunch of money around and make sure this doesn't pass, but at the moment, we're gonna cross our fingers and hope it doesn't pass.
Yeah, there's a website, I think it's churchandstate.com.uk that covers religious influence in politics pretty well.
Yeah. So
just in case you wanted to spoil your day, week, month, year, life, do that.
Yeah. Quote, I do find it quite shocking because it's a blatant violation of the First Amendment. San Francisco Archbishop, what's his name, said the whole point of the First Amendment and one of the foundational principles of this country was to keep the government out of church. Here is the government intruding into church's affairs. So
at least he's being honest that abusing children is the church's affairs.
Yeah. He's also a fucking simpleton because reality isn't black and white like that. Okay?
Yeah.
You know, this isn't libertarian land where every fucking law is just a, straight dichotomy. There is nuance. There is whatever. We're almost out of time. So Bishop, what's his name, Diocese Oakland, California, also forbade any priests in his region from obeying the bill. He forbade all of his priests from obeying
not how that works.
So
and
scofflaw.
Yeah, and actually one more little bit of kind of semantic thing.
My favorite.
They said later on that canon law experts differ over whether a priest can be, quote, released from the seal of confession by the person who confessed to them, with many insisting they can be unbound.
Unbound?
So again, that is, the people, really genuinely taking it seriously and like, okay, can I be released from my, the obligation of this whole thing?
Right.
If the priest, if my fellow priest says that he is, raping a bunch of kids, but unbinds me from having to keep that a secret,
right?
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense, and it's, again, just fucking crazy.
I was going to say, it's you can, if you ask really, really nicely, please, Sky Daddy, can I break the rules? All right, son, just this once.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can tattle.
Yeah. So, I guess...
Wow.
Yeah. California legislators trying to do the right thing and have some accountability here. Just because you believe it sincerely, you're right to think that you're going to heaven or hell, depending on, what you do. It doesn't supersede the rights of sex abuse victims. It just doesn't.
Yep.
I don't know what else to say other than that.
Well, I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Part of the problem is supposed to have a back and forth, but there's nothing to...
Really?
Yeah,
we're on the same side.
Yeah, we're kind of out of time too.
The church in this, wrong. Abusing children, bad.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, we're going to spend the time saying that for...
True. I wanted to end on a high note, but, such as the format of the show, we have more bad news than good. So,
Yeah,
well,
due to the nature of what we talk about.
Yeah. One day, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Shall I take us out?
Maybe next episode, yeah.
Save us from ourselves.
All right.
Go ahead.
It seems that some people have the impression that this was indeed our show, and moreover, harbor the presumption that we hope you enjoyed it. This assumption couldn't be further or closer to the truth, especially in light of the suspicion that we'll be back with another episode in what could charitably be called 2 weeks on the 19th of June. Until then, question everything.